The following program was brought to you by CDEC, the California Inland Empire District Export Council, working with local, state, and federal organizations to provide resources and educational opportunities to help facilitate trade. And by the U.S. Commercial Service, a division of the U.S. Department of Commerce's International Trade Administration, whose mission is to increase U.S. exports, enhance job creation, strengthen national security, promote and protect U.S. commercial interests abroad, and deliver customized solutions to ensure that U.S. businesses compete and win in the global marketplace. In this era of globalization, the United States has made it clear that it is very much open for business, and commerce leaders are hopeful that businesses of all sizes and industries share that enthusiasm through trade or direct investment with our trading partners overseas and across our borders. That message was driven home at the 21st Annual Inland Empire World Trade Conference, presented by the California Inland Empire District Export Council, also known as CDEC, in cooperation with the U.S. Department of Commerce, International Trade Administration, U.S. and Foreign Commercial Service. The event was held at the Marriott Hotel in downtown Riverside, California, with the theme, Building Relationships for the Future. California CEO had the opportunity to speak with a number of dignitaries and invited guests in attendance at the event, beginning with leaders of the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nation from Toronto, Canada. We'll start with Chief Brian Laforme, who talked with me about his tribal nation's economic development efforts and a very distinguished honor awarded to these Native North Americans. I'm joined by Mr. Brian Laforme. He's chief of the Mississaugas New Credit First Nation. And Mr. Laforme, it's a great pleasure to have you join us here on California CEO.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation, and glad to be here.
Tell us a little bit about why you're here, Mr. Laforme, because with the Mississaugas New Credit First Nation, this is an important event for many different reasons. Why the World Trade Council here today?
Well, we want to send a message out to the United States and to this group that's here today that we want to build a foundation on relationship, and we want to open our doors for trade with each other in North America.
Now, this is an especially important year for Mississaugas New Credit First Nation because you are playing host to a very significant event. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, it's very significant. It's a monumental event for us. Last year, we signed a protocol agreement with PECOS, who organize and run the Pan Am Games. That agreement states that we're going to be recognized as the host First Nation of those games. And what that means is that we're inviting 41 other countries to come into our traditional lands and participate in the Pan American Games.
Fred LaTaparisa, the Director of the International Trade Administration from the U.S. Department of Commerce. And Fred, World Trade Conference today, spectacular event. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts. What was accomplished here today, and just generally speaking, your objectives, were you able to accomplish what you wanted to?
Well, thank you. You know, when I thought about this in planning this a year ago, that really the theme that came out, building a relationship for the future, it tied in culture, it tied in education, it tied in trade, and it connected the First Nation of Canada, the Mississaugas. It tied in the opportunities in doing business in Indonesia and hearing from what the Consul General had to say. Coupled with that, as I look at the membership outside of that, Dr. Peter Watson really put it in perspective from a political, from an economic, and really how it's interconnected as we look in the past and as we build for the future, where it all is connected between education, culture, and trade.
Mr. Rick Gibbs joins us, the honorary Rick Gibbs, former mayor of the city of Murrieta. And Mr. Gibbs, it's nice to have you here, Mr. Mayor.
It is my pleasure to be here.
What are you doing here at the World Trade Conference? This is obviously an important event, but Murrieta, always open for business. Tell us a little bit about what you hope to get away from today's activities.
Well, Murrieta is a city that truly thinks internationally and globally. For instance, would be that today I just met the Consul General from the country of Chile, and I've invited him to come to take a visit and a tour of the city of Murrieta, and he has said yes.
And in terms of those new economic developments and the chance to bring jobs and those types of highly qualified, high-paying career-type jobs to Riverside County, how important is it to have meetings like the World Trade Conference here in this area?
Well, the chances of me walking into the Consul General's office in Los Angeles and introducing myself, that might be a stretch. Sitting next to the Consul General during the speeches and the luncheon today gives me the opportunity to tout the city of Murrieta, to explain what it is we're doing, how we are internationally focused, invite him to the city of Murrieta, and to put together a tour for him. And this is a perfect opportunity to do networking.
I have Chris Curran. He is the president and owner of Waterstone Faucets Incorporated, and also he is the chairman of the California Inland Empire District Export Council. And Chris, thank you so much for taking time out. We appreciate it.
Very welcome. Thanks for asking me to talk a little bit.
Here at the World Trade Conference, you had a chance to kind of speak to us a little bit, but what I'd like to do is right now get kind of a sense of what CDEC is, what you do, and how you kind of work with businesses here in the Inland Empire.
You bet. CDEC's a regional organization that's sponsored in part with the U.S. Commerce Department. All the members of the DEC are actually nominated and then approved by the Secretary of Commerce. We all take a 3-year nomination and position, and then our primary edict is to get out there and be able to help other businesses learn a little bit more about export. That's really what we're all about.
Are you starting to see more and more interest, particularly on the part of those regional businesses, in kind of globalizing?
Absolutely. I think everybody's recognizing as we get bigger and bigger that the economy is not just the U.S. economy. As economies move up and down, we're all beginning to recognize that we are a world economy. And as Fred had mentioned, Lata Parissa, who is our commerce director, we're 5% of what is 95% of the commerce out there here in the United States. And if we really, really want to open up our businesses, we're going to reach for that other 95%. That's what the CDEC is all about. It's about showing you how to reach for that other 95%.
Larry Salt is the former Grand Chief of the Mississaugas New Credit First Nation. He joins me here today at the World Trade Conference. And Larry, first of all, thank you so much for taking time out.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
You're involved right now in an economic development capacity with the tribe, aren't you?
Yes, we are.
Okay, tell me a little bit about what you do.
My role is specific to economic and business development, ensuring that we take care of our next 7 generations. We're looking into the future. Everything that we do has to fit on the base of 7 generations, ensuring that our grandchildren are taken care of, so every business opportunity that we look at is a long-term business development.
And in terms of those economic opportunities and business development efforts that are ongoing at this time, tell me a little bit about what you're looking at, those markets and opportunities that lie ahead that right now you're ready to serve.
There is a number of markets right now in Canada, and I'm talking Canada because there's 633 First Nations in the country. In our province, in the province of Ontario, our traditional homelands, Toronto, is the heartbeat of Canada in business development. We right now are dealing with what we call proponents like Enbridge Oil, Gas. There's 9 lines running through Toronto, our whole traditional homelands. It's a major, major issue on oil and gas, obviously, in the country. We're looking at different opportunities in remote communities in Northern Ontario with, we're talking remote now, power generation. We're looking at power generation opportunities. Right now the communities function on diesel generators, which are malfunctioning a lot these days. We're looking at upgrading and working with other partners, First Nations, in doing that. We are, obviously, we're involved in a number of different alternative investments. We have a huge investment, maybe upward to $150 million assets that we have sitting in our territory. So we have some alternative investments. We're looking at business development from from anywhere from emergency services to generation of hydroelectric, all of those types of things.
So this is really an important event for you. If there is one thing that you hope to accomplish through your participation at the World Trade Conference here, what would that be?
I think one of the major areas is being able to look at energy. We know that globally energy is changing. We know California, for instance, is well ahead of the game in terms of solar, windmill, all of those types of things. We're behind the eight ball there, and particularly in our First Nations. So if we can walk away with power generation, maybe opportunities, renewable energy opportunities, maybe even look at, I'm not sure how many people are here in the mining industry, maybe there's opportunities there, but specifically power generation, emergency services, those types of things would help in long run, in the bigger scale of things in the province of Ontario.
Kevin Wasagijic is the Director of Sustainable Economic Development for the Mississauga's New Credit First Nations Tribe. And Kevin, thank you so much for taking time out. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Really excited about participating in today's event.
You have today the opportunity, I think, really to kind of maybe form some new relationships or kind of create some awareness of some of the programs and some of the initiatives in your current economic development platform. Let's talk just a little bit about that. What's kind of your mission here, Kevin, today?
Fantastic. We're very excited, as I said, to be here. We've just recently formed our Business Development Corporation, officially registered actually in the past week. And so we're here looking for potential business partners, looking to develop business opportunities within the reservation territory specifically, as well as developing partnerships outside of the territory. It could be even developing partners that may start here and then eventually migrate to Canada.
For more information on how your business can take advantage of the benefits of globalizing to trade with the world's developing economies and those customers who are demanding American-made products across the globe, visit the California Inland Empire District Export Council's website at CIEDEC.org. That's CIEDEC.org. For California CEO, I'm Jeff Allen. The following program was brought to you by CIEDEC, the California Inland Empire District Export Council, working with local, state, and federal organizations to provide resources and educational opportunities to help facilitate trade. And by the U.S. Commercial Service, a division of the U.S. Department of Commerce's International Trade Administration, whose mission is to increase U.S. exports, enhance job creation, strengthen national security, promote and protect U.S. commercial interests abroad, and deliver customized solutions to ensure that U.S. businesses compete and win in the global marketplace.